So,
Good evening. Today we'll be talking about our NASA Mars lander final report. As you can see, we are the E10 Inc., composed of our team members, Sai Abhinav Devapalli, Stephen Gallen, Catherine Hohenstein, and Caleb White. So an overview of our project, we'll be talking about the introductions, background, the requirements, the final design, the construction activity of our Mars rover, and the overall test results and our overall conclusion and things that we noticed in our project. So as you heard, this is our team. My name is Sai Abhinav Devapalli. I'm the project manager.
I'm Stephen Gallen, and I am the construction manager.
I'm Catherine Hohenstein, and I'm the test and verification manager.
And I am Caleb White. I am also a construction manager.
So the background of our proposal is that our company was selected to create a potential Mars lander for NASA, and this vehicle will be used to deliver astronauts to the surface of Mars. We had to compete with other contractors to win the multi-million-dollar bid contract with NASA. We had to demonstrate a completed vehicle on launch day, which we did. We were provided a list of materials that we may be used, and we requested certain materials that we wanted to use as well. There are two pilots, which are represented by two eggs. Both pilots weigh about 51 to 59 grams, and they must not eject from the spacecraft or the rover. There should be no visible damage to the pilots during the test drop, and we must perform the test twice. This means your vehicle must be reusable. Our vehicle must be reusable. And as you can see, we're providing our 10-minute video report, which includes video footage of our final demonstration, describing our design and the results of the test launch. And we formatted it just like that. So the customer requirements was that the Mars lander shall be deliverable for astronauts to land on the surface of Mars. The Mars lander's performance should be demonstrated during a video recording test, which we recorded, which we did on December 1st, which was on Tuesday. The Mars lander shall carry two pilots, which are eggs. The Mars lander should also be reusable. So those were the requirements that we had to do. So the contractor requirements, the Mars lander should not exceed the materials cost of $15. The Mars lander should be reinforced to sustain impact from a drop from a staircase, which is approximately about 12 feet. The Mars lander should keep the egg pilots from sustaining any damage. The Mars lander must allow for eggs to be unloaded after drop. The Mars lander should be able to support two eggs. The Mars lander should be light enough that it doesn't fall too quickly. The Mars lander shall be reinforced to sustain impact from a drop from a staircase. The Mars lander shall be cost-effective and sturdy. So those were all the requirements we had to meet for the contract bid. So as you can see, this is our final design. And we basically, what we came up with is this capsule that's composed of a medium-sized cup, which was able to house both eggs perfectly. We wrapped the outside, the bottom, and the interior of the Mars rover, which is represented by the cup, with bubble wrap, and we stacked layers of marshmallows and packing peanuts to create a soft pillow cushioning for the eggs, and that way none of the eggs received any of the impact from the force of the ground, and the cup absorbed most of that pressure. We also added a plastic bag to represent the parachute. The parachute was meant to slow down the rate of which it was falling down from the staircase, and that proved to be quite useful. And as you can see our dimensions. Our diameter for our cup was about 3 inches. The height of it was about 2.5 inches, and you can see the marshmallows on the right side, the marshmallows, the packing peanuts, and the bubble wrap and how we layered it.
Okay, so during our time of construction, it took about 9 minutes to build our rover completely, and in a different direction from how we planned it. We changed the design a little bit with adding bubble wrap all the way around the cup instead of just inside. So we wrapped it a few times and taped it to the cup. And then also another design change we made was we changed the padding inside. We put more bubble wrap on the bottom to pad below the marshmallows that we had placed in there and the packing peanuts. And also we placed bubble wrap attached to the lid. And so we put the bubble wrap on the lid and inside of the cup at the bottom. So here's what the final product came out to look like. So you have the bubble wrap wrapped around about 2 layers on the outside. We taped the plastic bag to each side of the cup to create a parachute and slow down the cup as it fell. And you can't really see the inside, but there are marshmallows and packing peanuts inside to provide some type of cushioning for the egg further, along with the bubble wrap. And here's the video of us constructing the rover. I'm just gonna jump around a little bit. Here, you can see us placing the bubble wrap on the outside of the cup. There's a marshmallow that we ended up eventually placing inside. That's the pad we used to place inside the cup. We cut it so it could fit inside. Placing in some marshmallows. More bubble wrap. This is the time when we began to place more bubble wrap onto the bottom side of the lid. We also taped the parachute on either side of the cup. And basically, that's pretty much the entire thing. That's the entire process.
Okay, so we were supposed to create 2 vehicles, but due to the time that we were given for construction, we only had enough time to only create 1 vehicle. So we only tested 1 vehicle once, and we didn't get to the second vehicle. And with our first vehicle test, the pilot did not survive the crash, but the pilot did not survive the crash, so we did not test with the second pilot, to see how well it would be for unloading and all that good stuff. So with the test plan, the results, we dropped our rover from the first floor atrium, and the distance from the floor all the way to the atrium was about 12 feet. And the dimensions for the rover was a length of 12 centimeters, a width of 11 centimeters, and then a height of 20 centimeters. And the loading pilots were me and Saeed, and the record load time it took was only 21 seconds. And after we had dropped our rover from 12 feet, the length was still 12 centimeters, the width was still 11 centimeters, and the height was also still 20 centimeters. So there was no damage to the vehicle that had warped it in any sort of way. And our unload pilots were Catherine and Caleb, and the unload time was 16 seconds. And of course, since our pilot had unfortunately died in the first accident, we did not test it a second time with our second egg. And here is the video of us dropping the egg from the first floor atrium. We're lifting it up above. Well, that's me lifting it up above, getting ready to drop it. There we go. And as you can't see in the video, the top from one of the other rovers did hit ours, but it was still in good shape. And like I said, prior to the test, the pilot was in excellent condition and the vehicle as well. But the after our rover had hit the ground, the top had came off and the pilot was killed, so we were not able to conduct a second test.
So for our conclusions, comments, and takeaways, we went back and we reviewed what we had done with our project and how our vehicle had succeeded and how it hadn't succeeded. And we decided that the rover itself was structurally intact after the test. However, the egg did not survive. Partially, we attribute this to slight interference from one of the other projects, but also we believe that if we had revised our lid, like locking mechanism, we may have had a more successful experiment. When it comes down to it, the egg was cracked. Our pilot died because our lid came off, and so he came in contact with the ground. The rover itself survived the fall. We just think that if we had done things a little bit differently with how we loaded the pilot and how we secured the hatch on our rover, that the project would have gone differently and been more successful.
That is all. Thank you for listening to our presentation. As you can see, we put a lot of hard work into making our project. We came up just a little bit short, but definitely in the future, our project will definitely be sustainable if we ran a couple more tests and improve the locking mechanism of our probe. So thank you for your time and have a good night.